You already know about bugs. You've seen them your whole life. The beetles crawling across the sidewalk, the cockroaches that disappear under the fridge, the ladybugs that land on your arm and feel like almost nothing. You've learned to coexist with them. Maybe you've even stopped flinching. Land bugs are part of the background noise of being alive on this planet, and most of the time, the most threatening thing a beetle can do to you is exist near your face. But there is an entire parallel world of insects that never got that memo. A world where bugs didn't evolve to scurry away from things larger than them. A world where they evolved to hunt them instead. And that world is underwater. Specifically, it belongs to one animal. An insect so different from everything you've been told bugs are supposed to be, that calling it a bug almost feels like an insult to how genuinely dangerous it is. This is the giant water bug. And once you understand what it actually does, you will never look at a pond the same way again. Let's start with what you think a beetle is. The ground beetle, one of the most common land insects on Earth, is a solid, respectable bug. It has a hardened shell called an elytra that protects its wings, 6 legs, decent antennae, and a chewing mouthpart called mandibles. Those mandibles can bite. Some larger beetles, like the stag beetle, have mandibles so developed they look like antlers. They can pinch your finger hard enough to draw blood, and that genuinely earns them some respect. A large ground beetle might eat a worm, a slug, maybe a smaller insect. It chews, it digests. It's an organism that makes sense. You can understand a beetle. You can hold one in your hand and feel approximately in control of the situation. Now, forget all of that, because the giant water bug, Lithoceros americanus, is playing a completely different game. The first thing that separates the giant water bug from every land beetle you've ever seen is sheer size. These insects reach up to 4 inches long. That is not a typo. 4 inches is the length of a standard highlighter. It's an insect you would notice across a room. But size alone is not the terrifying part. Plenty of insects are large. Goliath beetles are larger. Walking sticks are longer. Size is just a number. What makes the giant water bug something genuinely different is what it does with that body, and specifically what it does with its mouth. Land beetles chew. The giant water bug does not chew. It has no chewing mouth parts at all. Instead, it has a short, curved beak, a rostrum, folded tight against its chest when not in use. That beak is a syringe, and what it injects into its prey is one of the most horrific substances produced by any insect on this planet. When the giant water bug grabs something, anything, it drives that beak through the flesh and injects a cocktail of digestive enzymes and paralytic compounds directly into the tissue. These enzymes are not produced in the stomach. They are produced in the salivary glands and injected before digestion even begins. What happens next is that the enzymes start breaking down muscle and organ tissue from the inside. Liquefying it into a fluid, the bug can then suck back out through the same beak. The prey is digested externally. The giant water bug does not eat its victims. It dissolves them and drinks what's left. To put this in perspective, imagine if a stag beetle, instead of pinching you with its mandibles, stabbed you with a needle, pumped your arm full of enzymes that turned your muscle into soup, and then waited for you to become drinkable. That is, functionally, what the giant water bug does to everything it catches. Now here is where we have to talk about what exactly it catches, because if this were an insect that dissolved small aquatic worms and water fleas, it would be an interesting footnote in entomology. It is not. The giant water bug hunts vertebrates. Animals with spines, animals with bones, animals that, by every conventional understanding of the food chain, should be eating insects, not the other way around. Tadpoles and small fish are common prey, which is already unusual enough for an insect. But the giant water bug doesn't stop there. Documented prey include salamanders, small frogs, aquatic snakes, and turtles. Let that sink in for a moment. An insect, an animal that weighs a fraction of an ounce, regularly captures, paralyzes, and liquefies turtles. Animals that have survived on this planet for over 200 million years, protected by one of the most successful defensive structures in vertebrate evolution, eaten alive from the inside by something the size of a chicken nugget. The mechanics of this hunt are where things get even more unsettling. The giant water bug doesn't drift passively and hope something bumps into it. It actively stalks. It uses its flattened, paddle-shaped hind legs to move through water with genuine speed and precision, and its front legs, raptorial forelegs, curved and clamping, function almost identically to the grasping arms of a praying mantis. When it detects movement, it lunges and locks those forelegs around the target faster than the human eye can comfortably follow. The strike of a giant water bug has been compared to a bear trap in miniature. Once those legs close, they don't open. Then the beak goes in, and the enzymes follow. Researchers observing giant water bugs in controlled conditions have documented them taking down prey up to 50 times their own body weight. 50 times. A 150-pound human scaled to those proportions would be wrestling and consuming a 7,500-pound elephant. The water bug does this routinely, not as a remarkable feat. As Tuesday. For context, think about what the most dangerous land beetle can actually threaten. A bombardier beetle sprays a boiling chemical reaction from its abdomen. Genuinely impressive, legitimately painful, and a serious deterrent to predators. A titan beetle in the Amazon has mandibles strong enough to snap a pencil in half. These are real threats, real adaptations. But none of them hunt frogs. None of them drag snakes underwater and dissolve them. There is a category difference between land beetles, even the most aggressive ones, and what the giant water bug represents. Land beetles are defensive specialists. The giant water bug is an offensive one. It evolved not to protect itself from predators, but to become something that other animals need to be protected from. And then there is the matter of the name. Toe biter. That's the common name people in North America gave this insect, and the reason is exactly what you think it is. Giant water bugs are attracted to light, which means they sometimes leave the water entirely and fly toward lit swimming pools, lit porch steps, lit boat docks. They have been encountered by bare feet in shallow water. They have been found in outdoor showers. When a giant water bug bites a human toe, which happens, which has always happened, which is why they earned that name, the experience is described as some of the most intense pain an insect can deliver. Not because they're aggressive toward humans. They're not. They genuinely have no interest in you. But if you step on one, or accidentally grab one, it responds the way it responds to everything. With the beak, with the enzymes, with a level of force that makes absolutely no sense coming from something you might have walked past 100 times in the dark without knowing it was there. There is something philosophically unsettling about this if you sit with it long enough. We build our intuitions about danger from size and category. Mammals scare us because we understand them. Bears are big, wolves have teeth, snakes are fast and venomous. We have evolved alongside vertebrate threats, and our nervous systems are calibrated to read them. But insects, in our mental map, are the background. They are the harmless, small things, the ones we step on without thinking, the ones we sweep off the counter. The category of bug carries with it an almost automatic sense of manageability. The giant water bug exists entirely outside that mental map. It is the size of a snack. It breathes through a snorkel tube at its tail. It can fly. It lives in the pond at the end of your street, in the lake you swam in as a child, in the slow-moving creek that looked completely peaceful and unremarkable from the bridge. And in that pond, in that lake, in that creek, it is almost certainly eating something right now that you would not believe an insect could eat. It doesn't know you'd find this disturbing. It has no concept of what you think bugs are supposed to do. It evolved its dissolving saliva and its bear trap legs and its silent, efficient hunting technique in water, where different rules apply, where the constraints that shaped land insects simply never existed. That is the real reason water bugs are something different. It's not just the liquefying enzymes, though those are extraordinary. It's not just the vertebrate prey, though that alone would make this animal remarkable. It's that water offered an environment where an insect could become a top-level ambush predator and nothing stopped it. On land, beetles were constrained by gravity, by desiccation, by competition with 1,000 other arthropods and vertebrates, by the basic physics of being small and six-legged in a world full of things that eat small six-legged creatures. In water, a 4-inch insect with paralytic saliva and grasping forelegs could become something that turtles are afraid of. Next time you walk past a pond and the surface looks still and empty and calm, remember that stillness means nothing. Something underneath it has been perfecting the art of the ambush for millions of years. It is very good at looking like nothing is there. That is, in fact, the whole point.